coach of Chesterton, Mark Peterson, joining us right now. And, Coach, first off, you were shorthanded in your loss to LaPorte last week. How tough was that going into that matchup? And, of course, the turnovers didn't help either.
Right, yeah. You know, you look at that turnover ratio. That's going to be a major key component every week in and week out. And to turn the ball over as many times as we did definitely was a major factor for us last week. The weather didn't help, but, you know, LaPorte was playing in the same conditions that we were. So
and here's why they pay you the big bucks, because now you got to bounce back from Friday and go up against a Valparaiso team that's rolling right now.
Yeah, you know, Coach Coyle's doing a great job. Those kids are really playing hard. They're playing inspired football and kind of the old school Valpo teams of the past, you know, playing good, hard, smash mouth football. They do some really nice things on offense. They run some wildcat sets there where they're able to get the ball in running backs' hands and get some great blocks in the interior. Defensively, they show you a number of different looks. They're going to move their fronts around a little bit, and you know, we're going to just really be prepared.
Let me squeeze a couple more questions in for you before we let you get back to practice. And first off, are you set on a quarterback for Friday? Because I guess you played 3 last week against LaPorte.
We've been playing 2 or 3 every week, I think, and right now we have a couple of kids that are going to take real consistent reps for us. We have a couple of kids that do some things really well, and then they don't do a couple of things really well, and so, you know, that's really us as coaches. That's on us to make sure that we can continue to improve those kids and their weaknesses, and that's something that we've been working on and we'll continue to work on through the remainder of the way here to give ourselves a chance to win football games.
Ironically, Valparaiso started that way. They had a 3-quarterback situation. Now it looks like they're down to 1, and that one has had himself a pretty good last couple of weeks.
He has. You know, he's done some really nice things, throwing the ball downfield, but also on spot receiving on routes. And so, you know, you start to get that consistency, and we had that in the last couple of years ourselves. So I can appreciate that. I know it's a relief offensively to not have to worry about who's going to be in that spot and worry about what might or might not transpire. So, you know, to their credit, they've started to settle themselves in, and that's part of our youth, I think, in what we're looking at too is people in that position. We've got to be able to step in, step up, and we're going to keep coaching them up to become the best that they possibly can.
Knock them out on Friday.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Tommy. It's always great to see you, and thanks so much for everything you guys do in our coverage.
We appreciate you, Coach.
You bet.
All righty, now we make the trip out to Valparaiso to see the other side of the story of Valparaiso versus Chesterton. Okay, let's say we take a look at the Valparaiso side of the story right now with their head coach, David Coyle. And, Coach, first off, you come in with a little momentum. How important is that for this matchup coming up on Friday?
Well, it was huge after losing to a great LaPorte football team and losing in the fashion which we did in the last seconds of the game, and they go for 2, which was a gutsy call. And I mean, they did a great job with that. And then having to go over to Michigan City with a team that was undefeated, they're doing a great job turning that program around, and they're very competitive. We were very fortunate to walk out of there with a Duneland Conference win. I was proud of our kids and how hard they worked and what they put in last week to make sure that they could still stay competitive for this week.
Another big Duneland Conference game coming up against Chesterton. How do you attack the Trojans this week?
Well, we got to take 1 week at a time, first of all, and it is Trojans, so we throw the records out. There is nothing about pass. Everybody's 0-0, and it's always a great football game when we play them. And right now we have to work on defensively, just making sure that we do our assignments. It's a little bit of assignment football, and offensively play within our means. Make sure that we're doing what we can do, and make sure that the things that we're doing, we're capable of doing every Friday night and doing well. And the specials, tightening them up. We missed Jared Smolar, obviously, being gone, and was a big part of ours. But I think our kids right now in the specials are doing a real nice job. Lucas White had a great week last week. We look for him to continue to do some things for us in the future.
From a confidence standpoint, your football team has to be right on top of the world after what happened last week against a Michigan City team that was pretty impressive their first few weeks of the season.
I think that our kids are smart enough to understand it's week by week. Any enjoyment we had, we got to enjoy it on the bus ride home Friday. Saturday, we quickly knew what our attention was turned to, and that's what we've been doing and our focus has been. It was sort of our focus last year, so these guys are very familiar with what it's like to lose an early Duneland game and then fight like crazy to get back into the race. So that's one thing that I have to say is an advantage to us, is being able to reflect, focus, and get started with the next week.
What's your biggest concern about Chesterton come Friday?
Well, I got a lot of concerns with Chesterton, obviously, as they come over. It brings a crosstown rival that's been going on here for the last 10 years. And as I said earlier in the interview, we throw the records out to the side. It's going to be who's ready to rock and roll and who's able to establish their game plan first and get out of that mental excitement and get down to playing football that will be the main focus here. So I'd like to believe that our guys have that situation under control with where they've been and what they've been doing. But again, we're dealing with 15 to 17-year-old kids, and sometimes that's hard to explain. But right now they're doing very well. I'm very proud of them.
Good luck on Friday.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, and that takes care of business from Valparaiso. Let's say we go back to the studio. Wayne, Joe, big matchup coming up on Friday. Looking forward to hear what your predictions are.